Hello everybody and welcome to the Alva Smiling Faces podcast. We're joined by Decker and Richard Keys. How long are you going to keep that on for? Halloween special? We like Halloween specials. We've all made an effort this year.
I did amazing considering I had 1 hour's notice.
It was only Mark who made an effort last year.
Well, you know.
So we've all made an effort.
Thanks to me wife. If it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't have looked anything like this.
Yeah, same.
What, did she kill you?
Probably wants to
kill you before you came out.
You'll be looking like that for not long thanks to her.
She got all the paint out for us.
We'll put a bit of effort in tonight, unlike the lads at the weekend.
You put half an effort in.
Half an effort, yeah. I've got my bald head out today. I'm just scared in case these lights are going to bounce off it.
Your left hand side's worse than your right, like. Hell, I can't get you.
Put your teeth back in.
I haven't even had a drink yet.
Put the mask on.
So we're here to talk about that shit show against Southampton. So another trip down the south coast, coming away with
a point. At least we came away with something.
I'm going to focus on the positives. Shall we get the positives in there?
Right. I'm really positive this week.
We've done it. That was
You're
the
really
positive.
Well, I will tell you why.
Tell you why.
I'll tell you why. So Southampton.
Please, Decker, do.
I'm about it. So Southampton, generally speaking, it's terrible for it. Being honest, we normally get home all the time, which we used to constantly. It was 6 times every time we went down there. So we're off the bottom. Another clean sheet.
On goal difference, the
goal difference is dramatically better than the rest of them down there. We're absolutely terrible, and we're only 1 win from getting out of it, which is amazing. How bad we are, how we are just cut adrift already, I don't know. So that's really, it's amazing, mate.
So that's the positive out of the way.
I think it's because we have. Yes, we've been losing games, but to harp on about it, the goal difference is making a big difference. So we haven't been getting humped like a lot of teams that are in and around there have been, which means
that's 3 away games this season, 3 clean sheets.
Yeah,
which is good.
Defensively and in midfield, like holding things and stuff like that, were good.
They had some at the last couple of seconds.
Well, to be fair, they should have scored early on. It was the call him innuendo there. The left winger who he was down the right hand side and he tried to shoot rather than just put it straight across the front of the box to Ings.
Yeah, he was offside. Clearly offside.
So the one that picked up the ball wasn't offside, but Ings and
I know what you
what's his face were.
Yeah, like
Austin.
I actually did say that replay. And I agree
yeah.
So had he have obviously then got forward and pulled the ball, played the ball, back,
played the ball, passed the ball, scored the ball, missed the ball.
That's what he should have done, but he for some unknown reason,
because he was a greedy little shit,
he went for a shot.
I would have shot as well.
Well, look at the negatives though. It's just the same old shit, man.
I struggle to see how we can go from having 26 shots on goal
to
having basically no shots on goal. I know there's no.
Well, we had 2 or 3 shots, but sorry, there was none on target.
It's terrible.
Most of them were closer to ending up in St James's Park than what they were getting in the back of the net.
Mudo stuck one
top row again.
Mudo put one in the side netting, which was about the closest we came, I think.
Yeah, couple of went in the sea.
I think it was just desperation, because it was a game that both teams really needed to win, but as you said, didn't want to lose
themselves.
I think it's a good point.
It's a good point. If you look at it on paper, it is a good point.
Yes.
But you look at that performance and you think, something's got to improve.
Well, if
we can't go there and have a shot on target.
That's why I'm so annoyed with everything about them. And I'm sick of saying it. The same formation again, man. Yeah. It's the same 4-4-1-1 every week.
We played for 3 years. Why are you surprised?
But the thing is, we haven't played well in 3 years. We never played well, man.
And the most frustrating thing
we've seen this performance. How many times, honestly, have we seen that type of performance?
Of course. And Perez was in there again.
And
I think we all knew Perez was going to be in. We'll get on to him. In fact, we'll just get it out of the way now.
Have you finally came around to my way of thinking about Jose Perez?
We've all seen it before. We've all seen it before, where he'll have an absolute shite run, and then he'll go on a good run, right? This good run is never ever coming.
It hasn't came for
he's lost. There's just no effort there.
2.5 seasons.
It's just so poor, and you're thinking, how the hell are you still in that team?
I don't know.
The one positive for me is he actually got fucking hiked off halfway through the second half.
He did get subbed off.
Injured, though, wasn't he? He got carrying an injury, head injury.
It's just so bad when you look at it and think there must be someone that's in that team that's going to put more effort. Even the likes of Murphy, I couldn't give a shit if he's going to lose the ball. At least he's going to try something.
Well, you can guarantee with Murphy and Atsu, they'll at least run the ball.
Oh, they'll at least lose the ball.
They'll probably lose it 2 out of 3 times.
But they're trying, and that's the thing. They're not standing back to goal like what Perez is doing. He's just so frustrated because there is a decent player in there.
I just don't know where.
I bet you, right? I bet you now, if he was to go, let's say in January, he won't, but let's say if he was to go in January to one of the Spanish teams, he'll play well for them.
We apparently were being offered like 20 million, weren't we, for him not so long ago.
Well, I said at the start of the season,
worst piece of business in history. Us not getting rid of
I think maybe in the last season, the last podcast, I said I think Perez will go. Obviously, back over to Spain just to be close at home.
Yeah, I said he wouldn't.
And I think you just both said he wouldn't. But bloody hell, I wish he had.
That's not a question that I didn't want him to go. I didn't think he would go.
Well, I'm going to Tenerife in a few days' time, so will I take him back?
Put a word in.
I'll take him back.
See if they can.
Do you want him back? Anyone want him back?
Another positive, sorry, I know we've been rightfully negative there, but Rondon, because obviously the week before when we were talking, I'd said, do you think he'd even play him? We're like, nah, probably not.
I didn't think he was anywhere
on the bench and he'd come on, so at least that's something to give her hope in the games to come.
He still didn't look fit, but it is. You just hope he doesn't have another setback, which is just what seems to happen. But I think if I throw a positive in as well for me again, Muto, his movement and work rate and stuff like that was you just couldn't fault it. He was the only one that was actually trying to do stuff. So that is a big shout for me. As a link-up player, Muto can be brilliant because he just doesn't stop. He's chases nothing balls. He was doing that like when the ball was flying out into the corners and stuff like that. He was trying to chase them down and actually do something. So him and Rondon just have to get on a pitch together and see if we can make something.
You've got to give them time as well, though, because I think there will come a time where they will both play. But the thing what worries me with Rafa, right, is that Perez, for example, he sticks with Perez no matter how bad or how well he plays.
Yeah.
But other players, he'll play them for say one half or one game, and then you'll not see them again. And
I think it's that hope though of what you've just been saying is that
you look at the end of last season.
Occasionally there's a goal in him or a performance in him.
Was it 5 games in a row he scored at the end of last season?
He's done it time and time again.
He did in the championship season.
I just can't forgive him because that's the thing.
I'm not taking 5 good games out with 30. Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean, it's just shit. And
that's why I get so frustrated with him.
What like again, in terms of, I'm not just saying Rafa here either. I don't mean just saying, but like you talk about training and coaching and the coaches in the club. Every single time you watch Perez, it's the same mistakes, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the same mistakes for 3 years.
Yeah.
So what the hell is going on?
Maybe he brings Rafa at Apple every day.
I honestly don't understand how he can go into training on Monday or Tuesday and go, right, your performance was the same as it was when I very first ever seen you in your Newcastle shirt. Let's work on this, work on that. And the next week, it's the same performance.
Do you not think, though, in training that he's probably doing something? Because that's the thing, he always talks very highly of him. So it's more, is it what he sees in training? And we know that from...
Let's be fair.
How he picks the teams and stuff like that.
In fairness to Rafa, he did it the day again, I think, wasn't it? He said, can't ask any more of the players to working hard. He thinks Hayden's going to play for England, man. That's what he said.
That was 3 seasons ago.
No, he said this season, man. He says, I still think there's a player there, even though he wants to leave one. I think he'll play for England. If he really believes that, then we're in big trouble. But anyway,
we're not going down that one again.
Perez shouldn't be playing. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
The worrying thing is
you will.
You're looking in. Where is the quality to replace it? It just doesn't.
The thing
exist,
is, even
does it?
Rondon's not fit. It's clear to see he's not fit, and he's a while away of fitness. I think we're going to be lucky to ever see him fit this season to the expectations where he needs to be. So for the time being, I'm happy for Joslu and Mutu to be starting as long as Perez is not there until Rondon can gain that fitness. Put Joslu and
no matter how bad.
Keep Perez as an impact player.
Yes, put him on the wing.
I
don't mind him when he's on the wing.
He used to play on the left a few times, didn't he?
But he kept on getting in the bloody middle of the pitch. So did Kennedy.
Keep him for the last 20 minutes. He might, do something where he does just nip in and steal something. Because he has in the past done that.
Living.
as much as Joselu gets a lot of grief for his finishing ability, which I think is all to say it's not that good, in fairness, he can hold the ball up quite well, and he's very good at flicking it on and stuff. And I think he's quite brave with his back to goal. Like he'll try and head at anything like that comes his way. You know what I mean?
He's full of heart.
He's
the absolute opposite of Perez.
He's just like in terms of an actual striker in terms of in front of goal. Bless him. He's
and I know
I think that's confidence with him.
We shouldn't be judging players on videos on YouTube and stuff. But when we first signed Mutu, I looked at a few videos of him, and he was always in the right place at the right time, always just sitting at the back post,
goals
ready
in the box
but
and stuff.
You need to get them balls across the ground in the box, and we're not just lumping it out.
Look at the goal. His first goal against Man United was similar. It was like into his feet in the box, quick turn shot.
Cleared in between.
Great footwork. Great footwork.
It was. I could question the goalkeeper maybe, but still, the technique he showed there is more than Perez, in my opinion. Like, well, I know he scored some great goals at Cruyff against West Brom and that, but I want about actual ability of. Well, maybe you're right, but in terms of like the way that Mutu touched that ball onto his other foot and shot,
he's technically good.
He is good.
What is?
But you've got to be able to create the chances in the first place for him to be able to even have an attempt to have a shot.
What are your thoughts on Lascelles at the moment? Because he looks unfit to me.
Something's not.
He just always seems a step behind the play.
Are we seeing the Lascelles that is Lascelles? If that I think maybe last year he just peaked, and I think maybe last year he was just playing so above his station. Now we are seeing maybe what he is, which is still a good player.
Like he's getting caught out quite a bit.
I just think it's everybody. When you look at the entire team, they just look devoid of confidence.
Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah,
it's a fair comment.
You look around it because you go back. I mean, we talked about Lascelles a couple of seasons ago and saying really he wasn't great. He had a bit of heart. He was doing a bit of shouting in the change room and stuff like that, and took his chance. But he always had a mistake in him.
And he hasn't actually made any mistakes. I don't want to pinpoint anything on. He hasn't made any mistakes this season or anything. But just watching that back four, he just does look slow, like very, very slow.
Maybe it's having Fernandez alongside of him. Is Fernandez has been outstanding.
Yeah, he is.
Is he just making him look worse?
I think Lascelles. It's for me when he has the ball. It makes Dummett look good.
No, he's not a footballer.
He's far from ball player.
Which is why he didn't get in the England squad and stuff like that.
Basically,
Fernandez is quite pretty on the ball, isn't he? He's not afraid of bringing it out, and Lejeune's very similar. And I think it will be interesting when Lejeune does come back, whenever that may be.
He doesn't look far off.
Exactly, he's been running about. Do you go three at the back? Because you cannot drop. You'll not drop Lascelles, right? You'll not, because he's the captain.
No, definitely not.
And Fernandez will be very, very unfortunate.
He cannot drop Fernandez.
No way. It's going to be a matter of case for one of those to mess up before Lejeune's going to get a chance.
I'd seriously like to see Lejeune and Fernandez.
I said that weeks ago, didn't I? So I don't want to take anything away from Lascelles because he has been a great player for.
I wouldn't drop him.
It just like I say this season, he has. I'm saying this, he hasn't even done anything wrong.
No, he hasn't. No,
he's just I don't know. He's just not achieving what we know he's capable of doing.
I know we're saying that, but.
He hasn't we
haven't been hammered.
Yeah, we haven't.
No.
Another clean sheet away from home at the weekend. There, I don't really think. I want to be honest, if we were winning games, I don't even think we'd be saying that.
Looking at the back.
Well, because we'd be pinching games.
That's what the pressure is, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah. You're looking across the entire pitch and looking for more from some of those key players that.
But then you look even more into that defence. And Dubravka once again is keeping us in games.
Two or three good saves.
He's arguably
match winning saves there.
He's probably the best signing I think Rafa's done.
He's probably at this moment in time. I think he's probably probably the best player at the club in regards to the value and what they bring to this team. I think we're going.
I agree.
I think everyone else is replaceable apart from him right now.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
And even the likes of Yedlin, I've always been a big fan of Yedlin, and this season, and it's probably a confidence thing once again, it just hasn't been there, has it?
I do think though that there's certain positions which we can criticise in terms of they're not doing very well, but I don't think we can get better than Yedlin. I don't think there's another right back out there that will come to us that is.
You're probably true.
There's certain areas of the field that I'm like that, like Shelby for example. I saw, you know how much I love Shelby, but even he's not doing enough, really, is he now? He's not scoring any goals. He's not creating any chances.
I'm very surprised he didn't give away a penalty on Saturday. Actually, when I think it was Ings, he didn't push him, but he just did. Yeah, he did like a weird
little. He was moaning, bitch. I never expected that from him.
Yeah,
every bit of contact he was going to the deck, wasn't he?
Were you worried? What I was when I seen their front two, Ings and Austin. I thought, they're going to cause real
Apart from they
problems.
look exactly the same as
And
each
then they
other.
had
One of them looks like
what's his
Aaron
face
Rook.
on the bench as well.
Gabbiadini, is it? What do you call
Well,
him?
Gabbiadini and
Long.
as
Mangy,
well.
have you seen his
So that-
scoring record?
Against us.
No.
Okay.
Shane Long's only scored 2 goals in his last 64 games.
Against us.
That might be.
But to be fair, he hasn't
1 in 32?
started a lot of games, though, has he?
Shite. I could score 1 in 32. I'm telling you. With this face on, I could.
This fake face.
I could definitely do 1 in 32.
No, it is, but it just shows you that, because I'd love any one of those 4 strikers at our club, but they still couldn't score.
Last January was it?
Well, Ings and Austin.
Aye, well, Ings turned with down, didn't he?
Apparently so.
In January.
He could have made a big difference, for me.
I didn't know. We're doing creating, aren't we?
It doesn't matter who we put up there.
Put our sheer up there, you know. We're still struggling.
I know,
We're still would have drew on. So it wouldn't,
But
you know what I mean? We're
you
not creating
just
that
think some of them balls that get hiked in and thrown forward, he'd do something with them.
I thought even looking at the wings, there's nothing coming from there. No creativity from the wings.
There has to be a change of formation. I'm sorry, there has to be. And for me, it would be. I'm almost getting to the opinion now of dropping the number 10 altogether. Right? I know it's never going to happen. But I'm just saying. If you could get Key fit, if you could, he's on the bench there. He was.
Oh, he came back. Aye, we found him.
If you played Diarmi, Shelby, and Key in the midfield, and then allow your wingers to literally just be wingers in that
Just
end of
attack.
the field. Aye. Kennedy, real license to go forward.
Diarmi once again, though. Diarmi was quite poor, wasn't
he is. But again, and I'll say what I said about ourselves. Last season, perhaps
overperforming.
they're just overperforming, and unfortunately, we're kind of getting them back to that level. Maybe due to lack of confidence, or maybe it's just we're just seeing a 29-year-old Diarmi of what he really is.
Well, let's face it, we overachieved last season.
We did, yeah, we did.
But they at least put the graft in and the effort to get themselves some results and get there. And as much as we're missing a bit of luck and a bit of a break, we're also missing that effort and that cutting edge massively.
I think against Brighton, you couldn't question the what were you saying? The effort, sorry. We really did well against, but battered them. In fairness,
we did, but I still, as the game went on,
but cutting edge is different than not trying, if that makes sense. Like you're saying lack of effort. I don't feel there's lack of effort that we haven't won against Brighton.
I think there could have been more effort as the game went on against Brighton. People just standing still, very stagnant. Not
certain players,
stuff
probably
like that.
certain players, like Perez against Brighton, was absolutely shocking.
He was terrible.
He was terrible against Brighton.
Was terrible.
But Southampton, that game, I thought there was lack of effort in there in regards to pressurising the back four. Because we never really tested anyone in that game, did we?
Which I couldn't understand, because there was.
Away from home, we went against Palace. But
there was a lot of time where their wingers and their fullbacks were getting forward and putting it on with us, which left a lot of space in behind them. But the ball was going out there, but there was only Muto that was actually chasing out into the flanks and getting out wide. Where was Richie and Kennedy getting up the pitch? Where was Yedlin and Dummett getting up and supporting them?
I think
it just didn't happen.
I then again questioning that. I say this all the time, but and you know I don't like Murphy, and I know but the last few weeks I've said he should be on.
Yeah, he should at least be getting a chance.
He's on the bench all the time. The wingers on as we've just mentioned, they're on creating enough. They're not putting a good enough effort in. He should be on.
I think the longer the match went on, there was probably a fear of getting beat and losing that game rather than taking a point.
As you all know, has said many times, there gets a point in the game where you can't lose it.
I
think we'll reach that in about an hour, about 55 minutes.
4 minutes in.
It's where you then.
Shut up, lads.
I don't know. Do you take that risk of right? Let's do one, try and get at them, because
you have to be happy with that point. I'm sure you've got to be happy with that point.
I'm happy with the point. I'm not overly happy about the performance.
The performance.
I'm never happy with the performances ever. I'm never happy with them, but you take one.
Not creating a single shot on target is a big worry.
Someone tweeted, and it was a brilliant one, was Newcastle have failed to score against Brighton, Cardiff, Southampton and Palace. All the teams that are in around you and you haven't scored. The writing's on the wall there, isn't it?
It is. That's a worrying thing, because those are the games where I'm saying you've got to pick points up, and we'll have really picked points.
But you've got to be able
to
score a goal is the issue. You're playing Brighton, who haven't won in 17 games away from home. The Rockwell building, we can't even score.
That's what we're looking at. St James's Park fixtures, and to be honest with you, over the last few years, we haven't been that great at home, have we?
No, we're not. We've never, other than the Championship, but that's for obvious reasons. We've never made it a fortress, have we?
No.
Even in
for a long time. For a
long
time.
I thought in a Rafa it would be really hard to come here. Do you know what I mean?
It's hard to score here. but it's very hard to concede as well.
But I've harped on it, for a few weeks now. Is that we're losing the battle off the pitch as well, though. Of the crowd sitting on the hands, not getting in behind the team and stuff like that, and because we can make a difference when we make a noise inside of that ground.
Like this for years and years, though, hasn't it?
I know, but you expect when certain games come along, big games, when important games come along where you've got to win them, like that game last week against Brighton. We've got to win that game, and it's like a morgue.
Yeah, no, you've got a good point there.
That is when you need everybody behind the team, and it's very telling for me is that when things off the pitch are in a bad place, i.e. with the protests, the bad feeling against the club, the anti-Ashley stuff, it impacts what happens within inside the crowd, with the crowd and stuff like that.
With the crowd, I probably agree, but do you think this would affect the players?
Well, I think it definitely has a knock-on effect, because if you think every single season that we've been at loggerheads with Mike Ashley, we've ended up in the shit, whether that be relegation or scrapping and finishing fourth bottom. But every season without fail, that's happened.
Yeah, but then you look at what's the other 11 seasons here. 2 of those have been spent outside of the Premier League, and there's only 2 that have finished in the top 10. So there's still like a handful of seasons where you can think, well, we haven't done anything. Like, we haven't been against them. We're still shite.
Not many. That's probably on the back of a
as a club
one and stuff
as
like
a club,
that.
as being a Newcastle United, if you're not in and around the top 10, we're doing badly, to be honest.
I don't know. I think I'm past that. Like me, I don't think we're that good.
Nah, we're mid-table team. We've all sat here and said we'd quite happily finish in the top of the mid-table.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, 12. We've always said 12.
I wouldn't even say quite happy. I'd be ecstatic. Ecstatic if you said to us, we are now a mid-table team. We're not.
But then we get back to the most frustrating things, that so many teams just overtook it, and it's down to Ashley.
It is. There's no doubt. But I'm not. It's difficult, this one. But I had a conversation with a few lads last night, right, and they were getting off it. But what I was trying to explain, didn't have to listen or not, was you look at Brighton, right? I look at that Brighton team that came up against us, right? Now, man for man, because I was looking at the teams, and man for man, I would have probably only took Murray. I wouldn't have took another player off their team over anyone we had.
Right.
Truthfully. Now, how can Brighton seem to be doing canny all the time?
So do you put that down the manager?
Well, I'm starting to ask a little bit.
Do you think that the could...
As fans, you constantly just keep coming up with the same thing. Every time we lose, it's Ashley's fault.
But do you not think there's far less pressure on those Bournemouth players than there is on our players? Because of the pressure that we as fans put on them. But the pressure of the stuff that's going on.
But we don't know what's going on down that neck of the woods. Like,
how we?
But it's probably because.
I'll go back to you then. So you go to the Brighton game, right? You've got Chris Hughton and Rafa. So you've got clearly you're choosing Rafa. Rafa's got the experience. He's very well paid. Got the best qualifications in the world. The team itself, I looked at that Brighton team and thought, fuck, no wonder they haven't won in 17 games. They're dreadful, and they're outperforming us again. And bearing in mind, them came up with us, didn't they? We then came up with us. Yeah. I know they've spent some money. I'm not saying they haven't spent money. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I still say, man for man, on that day, I would only took Murray over any of them, and they're still outperforming them. Bournemouth, for example, someone put a tweet on saying that Bournemouth team that rocked up at Fulham and won 3 out was worth 70 million quid on the pitch. Rafa spent 101 or something in the time since 2016. We aren't even fucking close. And look at Bournemouth's team. There's players in that team I wouldn't want. I'm not.
It's a difficult one, because then you look at Southampton. Southampton have spent millions upon millions this summer. They bought 2 goalkeepers for £27 million or something like that.
And you just mentioned they've got 4 strikers that are names. You know them all. You know who they are.
They brought the new centre back, a couple, the wingers, a couple of midfielders, where they were all 15 to 25 million pound players. It doesn't guarantee you success, but
I said to them last night. I said I totally understand whose fault it is. Well, I'm not stupid. I know that, and I've said the same line 100 times this season. But let's say we had a board Rondon for 18, and let's say we had a board Kennedy for 20. So there's 40 million he spent there, and we would have been in this scenario now.
Yeah.
Who do you blame then? Because you can't be blaming Ashley, because he would have spent However much, maybe still not.
But to be fair, it hasn't.
It would have been 40 or 50 million.
The thing is that we.
Then what do you do then?
The Kennedy ones, it hasn't really improved because we had him for the last bit.
I get
of the
that,
season.
but Dubravka did though. We had him last season, but he's just said.
I know,
he's-
but
you know what I mean? He
well, that's what I'm saying.
improved,
Like, we signed him in the summer, but again, he hasn't improved with since January, has he? Because he's been here since
No,
then.
I'm going to give you that one.
Rondon's came in.
Have we lost anyone that was a starter? No.
Dwight Gale.
I don't. I think Rondon's his replacement. I know he's not fit. I get that.
Well,
But Mitrovic never started. Mbemba never started. Marino never started. I don't think we've lost anyone that I could say is hurt with. Technically.
Marino started
Nah.
a few games, but then he went off the ball. The
Still
thing
a
is
season he
still,
did, but
but when
end
you
of
look
season, no
you
one
look
knew
at
who he
those and look at what's on the bench instead of them to be able to come on and impact the
bench
game.
is shocking.
There's huge gaps there. So yes, they might have been in the first team playing in that first 11, but
Better
you
than-
look at those
yes.
of what we've got that's there instead of them. That leaves a massive gap for me.
So then you look at the bench and you think, right, 12 million on Murphy. Has to be question marks for that one. Has to be. There has to be, man.
especially when his brother's doing a lot.
I don't know because I don't think he's. For me, he wasn't bought as a one that you're going to bring him and he's going to be playing in the team every week.
No, but going back to your point is, you turn around to the bench and you look and you go, they're not as good as what we've let go. Then whose fault is that? Then that we've signed this bench player for 12 million. That isn't good enough. Even for the bench, apparently.
12 million is probably the amount you're going to be
12
spending on a
million's
player to sit on the bench.
No money, is
Like
it? That's what I
these
mean.
days.
Now, obviously, one of the lads, and he's saying that, you know, what does 12 million buy you these days and blah, blah, blah. But you have to get off that wagon at some point. You're expecting to every player on the bench has to be worth 30 million then.
Well, the thing is,
it
it's
has
because
to
you're
come a time where-
buying a young English player from the English league. That automatically doubles your price, doesn't it?
Well,
if you'd bought an unknown, not really unknown, but you know, a player that's playing in the first division in Germany or something like that is doing very well.
Well, you signed Dubravka Marino.
You come and bring him over. Yeah, you can guarantee he's $4 or $5 million, isn't he?
Cabela, Tovan, that's around about 12 million a pop for both.
9, 10, something like that.
So you look at that and we'll bring them in.
Yeah.
And obviously same position, similar players, attacking players. So you're looking at other leagues and you're paying 12 million there.
Aye, but they were both international.
They were
Class, weren't they?
Yeah.
The Murphy transfer.
You get far better value shopping
Course
in
you
the continent than you do in the UK.
The Murphy transfer, in terms of our blueprint of what we want, worked. Because you're buying him, he's young, he's English, he might become good, he's flogging for loads.
Yeah.
So the blueprint was there. I'm getting that. But
I don't even think Ashley's even sticking to his blueprint anymore because he's not even doing that, is he? He's not investing in anything to bring in. I'd quite happily accept that at the minute if it meant that we bring somebody in and get 2 or 3 good seasons out of it, and then you make a whopping profit on him.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It didn't.
Do you not think that's what he's probably thinking about? The likes of Fernandez. And
well, we got him on a free transfer, didn't we?
Well, even Dubravka. What a spend?
He could go on in 4.5 million, wasn't
we could sell him at the end of this season.
He could easily walk away for a big profit. Yeah.
15, 20 million.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Hands down, he could end up with a top club.
See,
the thing is where we've been able to.
We always talk like that, though, don't we, about signing. Every team must think like that. Like Southampton have been. I was going to say it another way. I shouldn't have. They've been decimated with selling players, haven't they, over years? You know, buying people in for cheap.
Yeah.
Van Dijk's a great example.
Yeah.
You know, there's Liverpool's team basically is Southampton, isn't it? And like every single club, other than about 3 teams, is in the same boat we are.
Yeah.
You get a good player who does quite well for a few years and he's off.
Yeah.
Every team's in the same boat there. So I agree with what Mark's saying. You have to just accept what that is.
Unless you're a top
Exactly.
5-6 team.
Yeah, they're going to go.
You're looking at players that are going to be at your club for about 2-3 seasons, but you look at Wijnaldum, that's what we're doing with Wijnaldum.
Yeah.
So it's similar like
Probably
you buy them
stayed
in a
in
decent price.
In fairness, I think he would
Yeah,
have
I
stayed
think
if
he probably would have. If
Yeah.
he hadn't got relegated, he would have still been there.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
At least another season or 2.
I do.
What did we have for 2 seasons? No,
No,
one.
just the one.
Just one, didn't we?
We got relegated, so yeah. I think he would have stayed if I had stayed up. But I understand for his career, there's no way he was going to stay.
Oh,
like
no
Townsend.
chance. Yeah.
Townsend he stayed for 6 months, didn't he? So, but no, sorry. Again, just to stress, I'm well aware that it's all Mike Ashley's fault. I get that. I'm just trying to look at things that are within our control and can we be doing a little bit better? And I look at other teams and think, if we had the same team, would we be getting results like them? I'm not too sure. I don't know. I just look at Brighton and there's one example in Bournemouth at the weekend. I don't know.
I agree. I think we've got to change formation. We've got to look at scoring the goals. we need to score goals.
Einstein quotes the one, innit? You know, if you keep doing the same thing, what was it again? The definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result.
Yeah.
And at the moment, we're playing 4-4-1-1 and can't score a goal. But then again, going back to what you said, which is correct, then what is it you do? Because what are the options that we have? And I'm going to give you that one. But going back to what he said, Joselu and Mutu, then go with that. Give Mutu more of a chance then, and bloody drop Perez, man.
That's what we're crying out for. I think every single fan's in the same. It's not very often Newcastle fans agree, and I think we're all in agreement with Perez shouldn't be starting any games anytime soon.
We'll be sitting around here about say February. We need Perez back on. That's
I will.
You'll never hear those words out of my mouth.
We need huge investment in January. We'll get onto that when we do the question and answer, because there is a few people sent questions in regards to that. But in regards to this game just gone, has anyone else got anything to say about it?
No. I think I went on too much. Sorry.
Just let us have some divine intervention to turn it all around.
Clean sheet and a point away from home. I'm happy with that.
I just want to fucking win.
Well, we all do.
We're desperate, man. We're absolutely
That's
desperate.
The thing. So the longer it goes on,
the longer it goes,
harder it
the
gets.
worse it's going to get in the ground.
The
worse it's going to get outside the ground, and the worse it's going to get on the pitch.
Do you think that teams, the longer it goes on, teams that come to us don't want to be that team that get the first win? Like,
yes, probably.
Does that think that makes it harder, or do you not think?
No, because I think it probably cancels itself out.
I think it depends on the teams. If it's
the players, for fuck's sake,
if it's the teams in and around the bottom, they'll come and do what Brighton did, and just sit and say, right, you come and have a go at us and break us down.
Who's a Watford we got the weekend?
Good.
Get battered off them.
We did not see him, man. The Zorro guy.
I don't know, because they're very hit and miss.
I like your optimism, but we're getting hammered.
Aye, they'll be hitting with you missing.
You'll be pulling that hair off your chest, mate, by half time.
They are, but they're like 1 week they're brilliant, the next week they're awful.
We'll get onto that
later.
Yeah. Right, we'll call this one the end of play.
I'll try to be as positive as I could be this week.
We've got a couple of positives.
Hell, if that's you, positive.
That's what it was.
He has been smiling the whole time, like.
Right, thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. People that are listening, you missed out on the videos because I listened back to one podcast the other day.
It's not the same, is it?
It just doesn't make sense, half the stuff we're doing.
Well, you won't see how we look.
You won't see how good looking we are, nice.
Yeah, maybe.
Speak for yourself.
Improvement for me, I think.
I've been in the gym all day.
I'll be on the moon beds.
Moon beds. Thanks, bye.
Love you.
Moon beds.